Darkness, the kind that seeps into your bones, that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. The kind of darkness that feels alive, as if it's watching you, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Imagine a time before cell phones, before social media, a time when the world was quieter, when the night was darker and the shadows seemed to stretch on forever. A time when the only light came from the moon and the stars, casting eerie glows on the deserted streets. A time when the most terrifying things lurked in the shadows, when every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig could be something sinister, when the unknown was a constant companion and fear was a part of everyday life. This is the story of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders, a series of brutal attacks that left a small town paralyzed with fear. A story that has haunted the memories of those who lived through it and continues to send shivers down the spines of those who hear it today. In 1946, Texarkana, a town nestled between Texas and Arkansas, was a place where folks left their doors unlocked and neighbors knew each other by name. It was a simpler time, a time of trust and community. But that trust was about to be shattered. It was a place where folks left their doors unlocked and neighbors knew each other by name. It was a time when children played in the streets until the sun went down, and families gathered on their porches to share stories and laughter. But beneath the surface of this idyllic town, something dark was brewing, but something wicked was about to stir. A shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, waiting for the right moment to strike. A figure that would bring terror to the hearts of the townspeople and change the town of Texarkana forever. This is the story of how darkness descended upon a small town and the fear that followed in its wake. Fear. It began with whispers that slithered through the alleys, carried by the wind, and settled into the hearts of the townsfolk. The whispers spoke of an unseen menace lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. Couples parked on Lovers' Lane, brutally attacked. The serene moments of intimacy shattered by the sudden, violent intrusion. The once romantic hideaway turned into a scene of horror, where the night echoed with screams and the sound of fleeing footsteps. Some survived, forever scarred by the silence of that night. Their eyes, once filled with dreams, now haunted by the memories of terror. They spoke of a silence so profound it was deafening, a silence that followed them, a constant reminder of the night they faced death. As darkness fell, so did a blanket of terror over the once peaceful streets of Texarkana. The town, once vibrant and full of life, now cloaked in fear. Every shadow seemed to hide a threat, every corner a potential danger. The air was thick with anxiety as the residents locked their doors and windows, praying for the dawn. No one knew who or what would be next. The uncertainty gnawed at the community, eroding their sense of security. The question lingered in every conversation, every glance exchanged. Who's next? The fear was palpable, a living entity that thrived on the unknown, feeding off the collective dread of Texarkana. The press gave him a chilling name, the Phantom Killer. A shadowy figure preying on couples in the night. His face, forever hidden, a terrifying mystery. Join me as we unravel the truth behind the legend of the Phantom Killer. February 22nd, 1946. A Friday night, young love, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking nearby. Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Lowry parked on a secluded road known as Lovers' Lane. As darkness enveloped their car, a figure emerged from the shadows. He approached the driver's side, flashlight blinding Jimmy, a gun pointed at his head. He ordered the terrified couple out, forced them into the woods, fear coursing through their veins. He tied their hands at gunpoint, demanded to know if they were married. What happened next haunts the history of Texarkana. Jimmy, pistol whipped, left for dead. Mary Jean, assaulted, threatened with her life. Miraculously, they both survived, forever scarred by the trauma. News of the attack spread like wildfire, panic gripping Texarkana. The police were baffled, no witnesses, no suspects, few clues. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of the Phantom's reign of terror. Weeks passed. An unsettling silence fell over Texarkana, the town on edge, waiting, wondering. Would the nightmare return? Some dared to hope. The worst was over. They were wrong. March 24th, a Sunday evening. Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore, enjoying a quiet evening, parked on a secluded road miles from Lovers Lane. This time, the Phantom had a different plan. The following morning, a horrific discovery rocked Texarkana. Richard and Polly Ann found dead in Richard's car, shot multiple times, execution style. Section 4, the Phantom's calling card, but something else chilled investigators to their core. A shell casing left inside the car, a message from the Phantom. This time he was taunting them. Section 1, a city on lockdown. Panic. It consumed Texarkana. The once vibrant streets now stood empty. As night fell, a citywide curfew strictly enforced. Shops boarded up, windows dark. The town transformed into a ghost town. Section 2, the Dragnet. The investigation intensified. Hundreds of officers descended upon Texarkana. State troopers, even the FBI, joined the hunt for the Phantom. Everyone a suspect, every shadow a potential threat. Leads emerged, only to fizzle out. Hundreds of tips poured in, most leading nowhere. False confessions and wild accusations only added to the chaos. Frustration mounted. Investigators no closer to finding the Phantom. Whispers began of incompetence, even a cover-up. The town's trust fading fast. Life in Texarkana changed. Forever gone was the innocence of a small town, replaced by paranoia and distrust. Neighbours, once friendly, now eyed each other with suspicion. The sound of children laughing silenced, replaced by the heavy silence of fear. Couples afraid to hold hands in the dark. Love itself seemed to vanish as the night claimed the town. The hearts of Texarkana broken. Grief hung heavy in the air. The victims, so young, their lives cut tragically short. The trauma ran deep, leaving invisible scars that would last for generations. Texarkana never the same. The Phantom had shattered their sense of security, their belief in safety. But amidst the fear, a spirit of resilience emerged. The Phantom vanished into the night. as quickly as he'd arrived. But his shadow continued to loom large over Texarkana. The investigation continued for years. Suspects questioned and cleared, but the answers eluded them. One name, however, kept resurfacing. U.L. Swinney, a known criminal with a history of violence and a car matching descriptions from witnesses. His wife even confessed to his involvement, claiming he forced her to participate. Swinney was convicted of arson and sentenced to life in prison, but always denied involvement with the murders. He remains, to this day, the strongest suspect in the Phantom Killer case. But you decide guilty or innocent. Decades later, the Texarkana Moonlight Murders endure as a chilling reminder of the past. This small town, once peaceful and serene, was forever changed by a series of brutal attacks that left the community in a state of perpetual fear. The memory of those dark nights still lingers in the air, a haunting echo of a time when safety was a distant dream. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders endure as one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries. The questions linger. Who was the Phantom Killer? Why did he choose Texarkana as his hunting ground? What drove him to commit such heinous acts? These questions have plagued the minds of many, from seasoned detectives to curious historians, all seeking to uncover the truth behind the mask of the unknown assailant. The Phantom Killer? Why did he terrorize Texarkana? The fear he instilled in the hearts of the townspeople was palpable, a shadow that stretched across the years. The residents lived in constant dread, their lives overshadowed by the threat of the unseen predator. The Phantom Killer's reign of terror was not just a series of crimes. It was a psychological assault on the very fabric of the community. Texarkana, the answers may be lost to time, but the impact of those nights remains etched in the collective memory of the town. The stories passed down through generations serve as a grim reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present possibility of darkness lurking just beyond the light. May be lost to time, but the legend of the Phantom Killer lives on. Each tick of the clock, each passing year only adds to the mystique of the unsolved case. The clues that once seemed so promising have faded into obscurity, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unresolved fears. But the story remains a cautionary tale of the darkness that lurks in the shadows, and a reminder that some mysteries never truly die. The tale of the Phantom Killer is more than just a story of crime. It is a narrative of human vulnerability, of the thin line between safety and chaos, and of the enduring power of fear that lurks in the shadows, and a reminder that some mysteries never truly die. The legend of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders continues to captivate and terrify, a testament to the enduring power of the unknown. As long as there are shadows, there will be stories of the Phantom Killer, whispered in hushed tones and remembered with a shiver. That some mysteries never truly die. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders stand as a chilling reminder that some questions may never be answered, and some fears may never be fully laid to rest. The legend endures, a haunting echo of a time when the night was filled with terror and the unknown walked among us. Silence. That's what remains of the Phantom Killer. Decades have passed, yet we are still left with more questions than answers. Who was he? Why Texarkana? Some believe he moved on terrorized another town. Others think he was caught for other crimes, his true identity remaining unknown. The Phantom Killer became more than just a killer. He became a symbol of fear, the fragility of life, and the unknowable darkness that lies within us all. Today, Texarkana remembers the victims of the Phantom. Their story serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, the human spirit endures. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders, a chilling chapter in American history, never